Welcome to the Ref Show. Lining for us this week is Glenn Turner, and certainly assistant referees have been as much in the spotlight as the men in the middle, the referees. Also in our spotlight is David Hirst. Welcome back, David. It's like Groundhog Day for you. It's like Groundhog Day for you, and it certainly is for me, because we're talking about grappling. Now, I know you might be bored with this subject, but really it needs to be got right. And the view of the You Are the Ref team, the experts and the panel, is that if this unsightly spectacle is removed from football, the game will be a lot better for it. So we've got teething problems, David. Before we come on to the incident, we've got massive inconsistency on this, the application of it.
Without a doubt. I mean, it's something like we say we've been screaming for a long time now to get this, the grappling in the penalty area sorted out. It's nice that we're starting to move in the right direction. But like you mentioned there, with teething problems, there's always going to be inconsistency of referees giving the penalties and not giving the penalties.
So for you, is that a price worth paying, something inevitable that's going to happen?
I think it was always going to be part of the way forward. I think by no way did I think that we'd go into a new season and everything would be right with it. Yeah. It doesn't happen like that. All rules, it's not a change of rules, but the enforcement of the rule, it's going to cause a few problems. Players are going to test the referee. Referees are looking at whether they're going to give it. Yeah. I expected the teething problems, and we've certainly got them.
Well, there certainly have been problems, and there certainly has been inconsistency. Yeah. One guy's doing it.
Yeah. First of all, David makes a good point. This is not a new law. This is not a change in law. The law's always been there. What we're asking referees to do is to enforce the law that's been allowed to slip over years. Now, the biggest problem I've got with this is that we've got one referee doing it correctly and the rest of the group not. If we'd flip that around and we got most of the group doing it correctly and one referee not, I can go with that because that's early season. Somebody needs a bit of help to catch the rest of the group up. The problem is there's only Mike Dean doing this, and yet again he's led the group this week.
Okay, the penalty was missed by Crystal Palace in the 1-1 draw with
Bournemouth.
That's beside the point. Benteke was pulled back. Now, it might not have been the most glaring, blatant
doesn't have to be.
But it was there.
It was a pull. It's a pull. It was a great spot by a fabulous referee who is leading the rest of the pack on this. Well done, Dino. Yeah. My problem is, what's everybody else doing? Mm-hmm. Because there were so many again this weekend missed or ignored, and that's the bigger problem for me, if they're being ignored.
What are they being told? Are they being told to be strong on this as a group? Do you know?
That's what we're being told, and that's what I'm hearing coming out of the meetings as well, that they are being consistently told by more and more coaches. For goodness me, they've got more coaches than National Express now at the PGMO. What are they being told? I'm being told that they are being asked to reinforce this. We've all been promised as supporters, pundits, fans of the game that they are going to reinforce this, but it's not happening.
No.
Apart from one referee.
Apart from one referee.
Who's actually very brave in himself.
Very brave.
And showing the fact that, the character that Mike's got, that's what it is. That stands out head and shoulders above the rest of the group. He's standing there. And he's willing to take a little bit of flack to make this rule go forward.
But it's not just it. I think some of that character comes from the fact that he's a damn good referee. He knows that 99.9% of the time he's likely to be right as well. The others, they're lacking the strength to carry it through because I think they're lacking the ability as well.
Yeah. Well, let's look at some of the others. I mean, Bobby Madley, Spurs 1, Liverpool 1. I think that was quite a difficult game to control and keep on top of. According to Guy Beale on RefCam, he did question his movement and stamina, but there were two super tight calls. I think you've given the benefit of the doubt on those. But the one thing that we're talking about is grappling again. Vertonghen of Spurs, fortunate not to concede a penalty. So here's a more blatant one, actually.
The one thing you can never, ever defend a referee on is being incorrect in law. Bobby Madley, you are incorrect in law. That should have been a penalty kick. The ball was in play. That should have been a penalty kick. You are incorrect in law.
So the ball's in play from the corner. Of course, you can't give anything for grappling before the kick's taken, but the warnings have just proved insufficient. So it seems like referees cut out the warnings, wait for it to come into play, punish.
What was he thinking? What was it? Because right up to the point, he hit his whistle. He was doing really well. He's in control. He's hit the whistle. And I think everybody watching was thinking penalty kick here. And then he went wrong.
This is what's going to happen. Before the actual kick is taken, if people are holding shirts, they're okay. Yeah?
Just let it go.
Why should the referee be there saying he's going to take this corner now? You better be ready, because if you've got hold of his shirt when he kicks that ball, that's a penalty.
Yeah.
Now, eventually, if they keep pushing and pushing and pushing on it, eventually they'll stop grabbing shirts and pulling arms.
Like in West Brom 0, Middlesbrough 0. This was late in the first half. West Brom denied a penalty for off-the-ball holding by Ben Gibson. Anthony Taylor, the referee, but it's more about the assistant referee, Stuart
Absolutely
Bird.
no reflection on Anthony Taylor for me. He's doing what he should be doing. He was with active play, and that's what he should be doing. My question is, what are you doing, Stuart Bird? Because you've got one thing to deal with there, and you either missed it, if you did, what were you looking at, or more worryingly, you ignored it. And I'm sorry, Stuart Bird, but I've watched you a number of times now, and you are, for me, an assistant referee who ducks the big decisions.
Okay, well, that's shooting from the hip there from our friend Mr. Turner.
I get passionate about lining, it's my bag.
He certainly does. Okay, Leicester beating Swansea by 2-1. Robert Huth, we constantly mention in connection with this holding and pulling. On this occasion, he was the victim. He was wrestled. No penalty there from Roger East.
So,
Well,
to
so
be fair, the player's got no call on that, has he? You know, you get away with some, you don't get away with some.
That's sort of
But no,
poetic justice.
it all falls back to the consistency, doesn't it? You know, and this is the problem that we've got at the moment.
Yet again, why is that not being given? Mike Dean would have given it.
He certainly would. He'd have given 2 penalties for that. There was a weekend of 5 penalties actually in the Premier League. Not all correct by any means, but one that certainly was the one for Jermaine Defoe in Southampton 1, Sunderland 1. So Lee Mason, just very quickly, he's had some flack here. Do I detect an improvement?
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. Now, I've known Lee a number of years, and he is a lad who relies very much upon confidence, and I hope some of that confidence is coming back, and that's been reflected in his performances. Because, yeah, you're right, I think there's been a significant improvement in Lee that we saw not so long ago to the Lee that we've seen this weekend. So, well done, mate.
Okay, right. So we're going to finish part 1 on a positive. We're going to go into part 2 to talk about, okay, Sergio Aguero and an elbowing that was missed, and looked quite clear actually in Manchester City's win over West Ham. We're also going to talk about the Hull and Manchester United game that was refereed by John Moss, and we're going to round up all the rest of the action and all the talking points with these two. Just very quickly to set up Aguero, we'll talk about what will then or what can now happen, but the offence itself, was it clear to you?
Sometimes referees and assistants are accused of copping out by using the phrase viewing angle. Not sure he had the greatest viewing angle on that one. I mean, TV shots, it's clear as daylight, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's clearly elbowed the fella in the throat and he should have gone.
Should he have had a better viewing angle? We'll come to that in part 2. David Hirst, Glenn Turner, do rejoin us. Look forward to it. See ya. Midway through the second half, with the home team 5-0 down, the home captain is seriously injured. After an ambulance is called, the home manager tells you that the rest of his team are now too traumatised to continue. He wants an abandonment. What now?